So we just got a big locker.
We did. Sorry about the first video, guys, and didn't include the better half.
Yeah, so this is faithful.
We got like 8 lockers we bid on this week, or this today. We gotta start picking them up. We got the first one.
But it's so hot.
Yeah, it was hot. 99 degrees. And of course, there's that stupid 99 degrees, but it feels like, 115. Okay, then it's just 115. It's not 99 degrees.
So we only picked half of a big one, the first one.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we'll get up early and pick some of the rest. That'll be our day tomorrow.
Mind you, we had to make a small detour for the wife. My wife, I love her, but damn if she doesn't get these dang cravings. And she actually has a craving for movie theater popcorn, not the popcorn from the store.
This is the best quality popcorn.
We actually show them. We literally had to go to the movie theater so she could walk in, make a whole detour with this. I have a 7x14 trailer just so she can get some popcorn, some buttery, salted movie theater popcorn. Talk about love. I had to, gotta swallow it, even though I wanted to say something.
I don't ask for much.
Don't ask for much.
I only ask for one thing all the time. So, which is like tomorrow, we will do our best, and 7.5 more to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot. We brought a lot of water too. I'm not joking. It was hot and sweaty. I sweat already as it is, and I know if this Dominican here sweats, it's hot. Then I know it's hot.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I think it's time to go home. But this is only like half of just one. So I was like.
But even you see how cute she is. Even when she sweats cute. She only has these little beads on her little nose. So as soon as I see the little beads on her nose, I know it's hot. Then it's time to go. Because I know she is hot.
Well, I can tell when it's hot because you look like you just came from the pool.
Yes. I knew it was hot too. When you're sweating, and I know a lot of dudes wear hats. When you're sweating and the sweat is dripping off the brim of your hat, that's how hot it is. That's how hot it was.
It's gonna be so hot tomorrow. So we'll see. We will do our best. And it's really fun going to pick up these lockers. I bet in couple just because I wanted something from them.
Yeah, and how much was this 10x14? Or 10x15 we got? 10x15.
440.
Yeah, 440. Locked and loaded. I think we'll make our money back.
Yeah.
Had a lot of little stuff, which is good. Had some big stuff, but mostly it's got a lot of smalls. We call them smalls, where you can sell, quite a bit of it quantity-wise. Shoes.
A sofa.
Yeah, sofa.
Bed.
Those are the bigs, the sofas. The smalls are all the boxes, which we tried to get right now. That's all the stuff that she actually wants to come and see. Tomorrow I'll probably come and get all the sofa, the big stuff by myself with my son.
Don't have to. I will help you.
Okay.
I will help you. Don't worry. So, we'll see.
We also couldn't really record because, the one thing that the two of us have is strong personalities. And both of us wants to be the boss. And
I want to be in charge.
Yeah, she wants to be in charge all the time.
We have to be.
I'm 6 foot, 300.
That has nothing to do.
She's 5 foot nothing.
That's not that.
And she wants to be in charge of me.
No.
Mind you, also, I'm sure you probably can see I got a little grace.
I have to be the boss. You are 46.
I'm 11 years.
In the inside, mentally, you're not 46.
I'm 11 years older.
No, you are 11 years. You are 11 years old.
I will recommend to anybody that gets marry a younger woman, because that way, especially like these Dominicans, holy shit, look at that right there. That's what I get to look at. I know you're probably looking at this first and going, how does this get that? Even when people ask her, I'm like, honey, people ask her, Because we've been married. How long we've been married?
14 years, Mom.
14 years, 3 kids. We have a beautiful family. But everybody asks us, how did you?
I think I was only 22, so he didn't even let me experience life at all.
No. Had to snatch it from the cradle. But people always ask her, what did you, obviously because they're looking at both of our faces and they see there's obviously a difference in quality. And they say, Carolina, why did you fall for Maddie? And
the truth is,
she says
your personality.
Yeah,
I like your personality.
Even I don't believe that shit. Oh my God. Even I laugh when she says that she loved you for my personality.
Because I like your personality.
She liked my personality. I know she liked my blue eyes.
Yeah.
But even when people look at her and she says that she fell for me for my personality, I think most people call BS on her right away. I told him
I love the personality. You have no personality, then you have nothing.
I think more people would believe you if you just said that you were coming for me for my money. But then after 14 years,
it's like
money. After 14 years, it's kind of like you either have it all or you don't. But if you're only with me for a couple years, it's one thing. But after 14 years, yeah, I guess you may actually love me. Who'd have thought? Actually, we actually thought, because this is sometimes I believe in some like these like conspiracy things sometimes, and like there's like we may be like in a simulation, and it's like we actually thought maybe, just maybe, that there's probably more of a real chance that I'm actually in a coma and this is all a dream. And I'm gonna wake up to some woman named Bertha. No disrespect to anyone named Bertha, but I'm gonna wake up to not someone looking like this, and I'm gonna wake up from my coma and be like, oh shit, let me go back to sleep, or let me go back in the coma, because this pairing in the normal universe is probably like what, 1 in what?
You are a great guy with a really nice personality.
Yeah, like 1 in a trillion chance that these two would meet. Of course, we obviously met online. It was not in person.
I mean, you were a full package. You look like a teddy bear. You made me warm at night. You have beautiful blue eyes, and you're a smart man. And you have a really nice personality. You're funny, not all the time. But yeah.
So yeah, we also do the lockers. We enjoy it. I actually got it started in it about 3.5 years ago.
And I bashed that idea.
Yeah,
so
right away.
Much. I said that was so stupid. I would never do that. No.
And so the first locker I actually did kind of sneaky. I kind of got it one day when I think you were out like a weekend or something. I bid on a locker, my first one, went to go pick it up. And actually it was my first one. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't have a truck or anything to go pick it up, so I actually had to rent a small van and take my kids with me just so I could show her, the contents, and of course it actually ended up being like a pretty good one where it had like good like newer clothes, and I showed her and her mother-in-law, because her mother-in-law lives with us, and they were like, wow, you can get this off these lockers for this amount of money. And it's like, yeah, it's not always treasures, and it says definitely not like what you see on TV. I think more people that do these videos for lockers should really post, not just the good finds they find, but also the ones where you find, food, you find rat turds, soiled mattresses, nasty stuff. There's not always rainbows and unicorns. It's actually some real stuff a lot of times, especially in our area, I guess. It may be different in other locations, but we seem to get more of the real stuff. But I got her hooked. And now she actually looks more often, I think, than I do. I still work full time. She works at the house with my mother-in-law. But
we sell this stuff in a separate garage. So we do that we do that most of the weekends. And yeah, been doing it for many years now, like almost 4 years.
Yeah, we actually enjoyed it. Actually, some of the best parts of getting the lockers, honestly, is the whole family actually enjoys it. Our daughter Isabel goes with us. We actually didn't bring her this time because of just how hot it was. I mean, it would not have been good to have a child out there with this kind of heat. But we actually, our whole family goes sometimes. Her mom, both of our daughters, our son, her father, her stepfather comes with us sometimes, and we all just do it as a family. So, that's probably one of the things that we actually enjoy. sometimes even like earlier, you know, we really couldn't record, not just because it was hot, but because both of our personalities, you know, sometimes we get on the,
we both want to be in charge.
Yeah, and so, you know, sometimes if we recorded that, you probably would see how close we get to almost becoming
he doesn't believe
divorced.
He doesn't believe in these things, but we're both Cancer, so we both.
Yeah, both of us were born in July, so it doesn't help either.
So we both we think like, you know, like very much alike. So he wants to be in charge. I want to be in charge, and at the end, we both know who is in charge.
And it doesn't help that both of our backgrounds, we've both been managers at companies that we worked for. So not only were we both born in July,
and we worked at the same company.
Yeah, we worked at the same company, you know, at different times, but same company. And we both have been managers that oversaw, you know, teams of people. So it doesn't help that we've had that background together.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help that if you ever know the Dominican people, they are very stubborn, very hard-headed. So
You too.
no, it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't
you
matter.
do.
It doesn't matter what I say sometimes.
Yes, you do. Oh my God, Matthew.
This right here is like a vault. Once it closes, if that
You
idea
are
is stuck
so
in,
stubborn too.
if that idea is stuck in there, there's no way around it. If we're gonna fight, we're fighting until the vault opens and the idea comes back out. I mean, that's how long sometimes we go. But that's why sometimes I can't record every time, because you manage to see us, you know, getting a little snippy with each other, you know, because you know those personalities clash, especially.
He thinks that he's always in the manager mode.
Yeah,
And I'm always like in a manager mode too.
And we also have different. The only thing we have different on our personalities is I have a little bit more OCD.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously does not.
No, I'm very like stable.
So
He's always like this.
So one of the fun things that we challenge ourselves is, you know, obviously,
We respect each other's opinions most of the time.
but packing, you know, putting the locker contents into the trailer, that's always a fight. Always a fight.
No, I'm not gonna fight.
Because I want to do it my way, because my way is usually the most responsible. Because
Responsible? Oh my God.
because when anybody that knows, when you pull a trailer, I'm pulling a 7x14 trailer right now, loaded.
No.
Is you have to load the heavy stuff towards the front of the trailer. This one here wants to put the washing machine.
It takes so no.
The
The problem is that your idea always takes too long. It's almost like putting Legos together. Like I just don't have the patience. Like let's get it in so we can keep moving, because we're gonna spend like 2 hours there just because you want to do like A, B, and C. No, let's just dump all that stuff there.
Obviously, because of the age difference, I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up with Tetris. And if anyone who plays Tetris, exactly, yeah, you're 90s. That's why exactly. That's the age difference. But Tetris, I try to stack the trailer like Tetris. It's gonna fit like nice squares. Every hole is gonna fit. This one just, you know, now we kind of know sometimes. She'll just hand it to me, and she knows I'll stack it, because if she stacks it, sometimes I actually will go back in and move it just because she put it in the wrong spot. She doesn't know that, but she put it in the wrong spot.
No, somebody had to be the bigger person, so I wanted to do it.
But if you like lockers, you know, like we do, it's a lot of fun. But it definitely, that's kind of why we wanted to do this, is kind of show a little bit more of the other side of lockers, not just the contents, because the contents are, honestly, most of what we get is household stuff. We don't really find too much, you know, like nothing super, super crazy. I mean, I would think the majority of what we find is really strictly just household. I mean, I'm sure there's probably other lockers out there that we could bid on, because we also don't try to go after the most expensive ones. We try to sometimes go after ones that are more economical, that we know that because we have a trailer, we also have, you know, one good thing is we live in an area that does not have HOA, so we can pretty much do what we want on our property. I will never live in an HOA ever again. Never, ever, ever, ever. If you live in an HOA, you know, all power to you, but I can't do it anymore. So we live kind of in the country, but the good part of that is we can kind of do, again, what we want. We can, you know, I can have trailers. We actually have 2 trailers. We have our big one that's covered in a small one. But again, part of the lockers we actually enjoy is this time right here is kind of why we wanted to record. Is, you know, we're just driving back right now, and of course she's chomping on this butter popcorn. Most of the video you're just gonna be watching her chomping on this popcorn right here. I mean, and it's funny too, because, you know, she's so.
I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah, she obviously is not stopping. But, you know, she's usually like very dainty, like, you know, very like princess, you know, queen like. except when she's eating. She gets mad because sometimes I actually will record her
That's not
to
true.
let her know
I get my hands dirty.
just how loud
I
she
get
is
my
when
hands dirty all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not always like a princess.
So we've been married for 14 years. Like every kind of marriage, up and down. We both have strong personalities. Again, 3 beautiful kids. Honestly, one thing I do love about my wife.
We think a lot alike.
Yeah. It's funny too when people meet us and meet our kids. Obviously, the first thing, almost every stranger that meets us, the first thing, I don't care who it is, the first thing is, how'd you all meet? Because obviously they're looking at us and going, there's no way naturally that this happened. No way.
My God.
It had to have been online. She has to have poor eyesight, which she actually does have, which is funny because she does have. She actually has to wear glasses, but she doesn't. You know, most people probably think her eyesight's bad, but you know, we've got 3 beautiful kids. And then the second question is the people always say is, "Wow, your kids don't look like you, Matt." And I'm like, actually, honestly, the way I look, I don't want this to go further in the gene pool if I don't have to. I want that right there to go into the gene pool. So my kids, honestly, all 3 of them kind of look like my wife, which, again, you know, sometimes when people tell you that, like, oh, your kids don't look like you, you know, kind of makes you feel a little sour. I'm actually like, hell yeah, I'm gonna have some good-looking, handsome children that are gonna grow up. I got 2 daughters and a boy, and all 3 of them kind of have her complexion. You know, they're mostly on the whiter side, but when they get out in the sun, they tan.
Brown. They're not brown.
They're not brown, but they get nice and tan. Because like me, I was that kid, and I'm sure a lot of you will understand this. I was that kid that I was either white or red, and it was never tan. Even if I put lotion on, I was that one that if you went to water parks, the pool, I had to run back every so often to re-lather myself up. And it wasn't just re-lather, you know, you get a basically like almost coat yourself, like almost like painting yourself. Because if there was even one spot like on my head or my neck that wasn't covered in lotion, you know, it was getting red and sunburned. That's why I love having kids with this hottie right here, because my kids don't need as much lotion and they tan. They don't definitely look like this. So if you ever see the kids in the videos, you'll definitely see, and you'll definitely have to comment and be like, yep, they look like her. And it's like, yep, thank God they look like her and they don't look like this. I don't mind one bit.
This is a happy ending for me. Just eating popcorn the way home.
Yeah, hopefully Mommy will be super happy and give me some, you know, some sexy time when we get back.
Matthew, my God, is this PG-13?
Okay, so maybe you'll give her a massage. 3 kids, 3 massages, go figure.
You don't know who's watching. And so I apologize. This is why I had to be the one in charge.
So out of the both of us, which one is more mature?
Me, obviously.
We were actually even talking about earlier, sometimes when we leave, our son is old enough now where we feel comfortable. He's able to watch our girls. Of course, we have cameras everywhere in the house so we can watch. But my wife sometimes will say that, you know, and I will say I'm an 80s kid, so I'm, you know, maturity-wise, I may be 46. I'm actually going to be 47 here in a couple months. Actually, next month will be 47. So,
47.
But, you know, inside, I'm still probably 11 years old.
No, he's 9. He's 9.
Yeah, maybe even less.
He's 9. He's younger than our son. Our son is 10. He's 9. When I leave the house, our son is in charge, not him.
Yeah. Hey, no joke. Sometimes we actually gave our son a phone. I know. But, you know, it is good for communicating. But sometimes, literally, when my wife goes out of town or goes to visit some friends or whatever, she literally will call my son and not call me. I mean, she's not joking. She truly believes that my son is more mature than I am.
And when I leave, I say, okay, Alice, you're in charge.
Because even when she leaves, she knows. When she leaves, the kids know too now. Because, you know, I'm that dad that will go and get all of the donuts, all the fast food. There won't be any cooking. I don't cook at the house. They cook. It'll be fast food, donuts, cheese pizza. I love New York style cheese pizza. And probably we'll go and do some fun stuff. We'll probably take the kids and get some ice cream. You know, we do all the things that, you know, the boss doesn't allow us to do. You know, but
I just don't allow you to give them candy all the time.
As soon as Mama goes away, someone like me having that adult money is definitely not good sometimes because that adult money, I want to burn that so bad.
Yeah, he's a yes daddy.
Yeah, I am a yes daddy. I will admit the girls
It's
got
okay.
the girls got me pretty bad.
It's okay. I understand. Plus, remember, when I met you, you only had one snake in a dog.
Yeah, it's true.
Now you have a wife, kids.
So when it comes to lockers, what's one of the best things you think that we found in a locker that, because also that's one of the things too that, that we found, and I'm sure other people that do lockers, part of the fun of it that we really enjoy is really not the selling, that's just a small piece of it. It's honestly the things that, well,
You made a lot of money.
I'm sorry, yeah, we make some money. Sorry, the greed part. But part of lockers that we really enjoy, honestly, is the stuff that we get to keep. Some people are probably too, we're not like the type that everything has to be like, organic and everything has to be like,
No offense. No offense.
Yeah, doesn't have to be organic, doesn't have to have everything, has to have brand new stickers, we have to buy everything brand new. So when we get lockers, some of the best parts we find is we actually will bid on lockers knowing that we want to get, we see pink stuff, we have two girls again, and kids' clothes are so expensive and they only, they wear it one or two times and it's done. But it's so awesome, getting a locker and finding the stuff that we can sell to make our money back, but also the stuff that we get to keep, and so.
Yeah, I bid in a locker today just because I wanted a table. So
Yeah,
I
just for
can't
one
wait.
thing.
I can't wait to pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah, so, people who do lockers will tell you, I think some of the best stuff that we enjoy is the stuff that we keep. Pretty much, I think every one of our TVs at our house is from a locker.
We've been very lucky because one of my first lockers was one that I bid on, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think it's time to quit my job for this, because I bet $10 on this locker, and when he went there to pick it up, he thought it was gonna be like a small stuff, and that was like a big king size furniture set with dressers and everything.
Yeah, the first one that she, I think, really got hooked, super hooked, is she bid on the locker, and the pictures were really crappy, and so no one was literally no one bid on it, and we got it for $10, a $10 locker that was like a 5x10. I show up, and as soon as I opened the door, I dropped an expletive, and I called her right away, and I said, "Oh crap, this locker is loaded." And it was funny because she was pregnant with our daughter Isabel or Sophia, and part of the reason the only thing that we could see clearly on the picture was there was one of those pink kid baths, and so we bid it thinking, okay, well whatever it is in there is we can sell it to make our money back. It's only $10 locker. We actually bid it because we wanted that pink, because we knew we were having a daughter. We wanted that pink kids bath, and that was really it. What was behind it was brand new, a whole bedroom set, furniture set, brand new in the box.
How much we sold it for?
Yeah, we sold it for I think $1,500 cash. A couple days later, put it on Facebook Marketplace, and so you talk about profit margin. $10. No one bid on it again because the pictures were kind of crappy, but $10. And I think even after we sold the furniture set, there was a dollhouse we sold for $200 and other things that we just sold, and probably altogether we probably made $2,000 off of that $10 locker, and that hooked her right there because when she saw that, now her goal was always to find that hidden treasure locker that was, and she's gotten lucky. I will say she's gotten lucky. She's found a couple lockers that we got for
many.
Because a lot of the videos you watch for people that do lockers, they're buying lockers for $600, $1,000. That's probably not us. We like this one is probably the highest we go, around $400. But a lot of our lockers we're getting are between $10 and maybe $100.
How about that locker that I got for $70? And that was full of shoes.
Yeah, we had one locker that we got. It was actually for $80. It was a 10x10. You really couldn't see anything, but the one thing we noticed is that when you see a lot of furniture stuff, those are honestly the ones that we like to bid on, the ones that you can see mattresses and furniture, because it deters a lot of people. But because we live out in the boonies and we also have the trailer and the truck, we can pick up all that stuff. So we really don't want the mattresses and the other stuff. We really want the stuff that's around there. We're hoping there was some stuff that we could find, and this one had it. It was only an $80 locker, and when we got there, we quickly started finding just Nike Jordans, one after the other, and they were all in black bags.
How many we had? How many shoes? I think it was 20, more than 20.
No, I think it was 50. It was a lot of shoes because it was was like black bag after black bag full of, you know, hardly used Jordans that we sold on eBay, and I think we made like what, $3,000-$4,000.
But there was also furniture there.
Yeah, there was a lot of other things too, but you know, for an $80 locker, you know, that a lot of people probably passed off.
Just for the shoes, it was like $3,000, but we made more than that because it was like there was like a bed set, and a lot of other things. That was full.
Yeah, and plus we've gotten lucky too. Like I said, a lot of the lockers we bid just because we want to get the. Look, she's still chomping. I mean, look, show them how far you've gone down. This, I mean, nice when you see. Look how much popcorn she's chomped. You know, I mean, hopefully she'll give some to the kids. I mean, they love movie theater popcorn too.
What?
But I mean, she's chomping away. I'm trying to keep my focus on driving. I got this trailer, and I got her chomping.
I love popcorn.
I got her chomping down next to me.
I love popcorn. That's my favorite thing.
Hopefully she can use those Reese's fingers for something else later tonight. Anyways, you know, part of the fun of the lockers too, like I said, is we, you know, every TV we had, we actually found one just recently where for some reason no one was bidding on this locker. You could clearly see a TV. You could only see a corner of it, but you really couldn't see the other corner. And I don't know, somehow I could see it. And I said, honey, that looks like a big ass TV. And how big was it?
Like 70.
85 inch.
Oh, 85.
Yeah, it was an 85 inch TV.
It's been so many lockers that it's just like, I don't know. We've been doing it for almost 4 years, so.
Yeah. So, but you know.
But we got 2 lockers with like loaded of shoes. You got one locker for like $300 or something.
Yeah, there was one I bid on. You could definitely tell there were shoes in there because there were some you could visually see. And of course, they do. You know, it's the adage. Everyone that bids says you only bid on what you can see. This one I did kind of. I realized there was probably more in those boxes. I couldn't see it, but I was pretty sure there was. And sure enough, we went there, and they were. It was like.
Yeah, I was like.
It was like 5.
When he opens the door, I was like, "You bid in this tiny locker $300? I would never do that."
Yeah, it was only a 5x5 too, but it was stacked with shoes. We probably made again another $3,000 on just that one for a $300 locker. So you know there are sometimes we do spend here and there, but I would say a majority of the ones we spend are.
He's the one that spends the most. I don't spend that much.
Yeah.
And
but
then
most of the ones are between like 10 and 100, and you can still find some really good deals, and really good. You know, especially now the only trade-off, and this is where I think some people that show you the videos of the lockers don't show you everything. Is obviously the cheaper the ones you go, you have to almost know that you're going to get some trash. Mm-hmm. That's just a piece of it, So obviously if you see a lot more boxes and they're neater, those are going to go up high. They're going to bid high. So you're hoping that those boxes are not going to be like someone's adult diapers. That's the thing you have to watch out for. Is just because again, if you bid on things you don't see, you got to be careful. But a lot of times we'll bid on cheaper lockers because people will pass on them because they've got mattresses or furniture. But honestly, I'm telling you, I know that this is probably one of those secrets. I don't know in our area what it is, but we have sold so many sofas. At first I thought, like, who's going to buy a used sofa, even if it's in a good condition? But I'm telling you, I think in the 3.5 years that we've done it, we have had to have probably sold at least 100 sofas.
Yeah.
At least 100 sofas. And I mean, and again, we just do this part-time. We're not even doing this full-time. And we've sold probably over 100 sofas. But again, sometimes we bid on these lockers mostly because we know others will be deterred because of the furniture or the mattresses. But it also plays into, if you have a good clientele, like my wife, she has an app that she, sends out messages to all of her, regular clients that come over. But we have some clients that want the new stuff, and we actually have a few clients that actually want those older mattresses.
I have a WhatsApp group with the same people that's been coming to my house for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Same people.
But, so kind of where we got lucky too with our clients that come over to buy stuff is some of them want the newer stuff. There's always a few that want the electronics. There's some that like the clothes and the shoes. And then we have this one couple that I think they have a church or something.
Yeah.
But they try to help people, so we sell it to them, and they usually come afterwards and they'll buy all the stuff that nobody wanted, the furniture, the mattresses. And so we really got lucky with the people we get sometimes because, we are trying to help people here and there. It's not just about making money or, things we get to keep, but it is nice.
I have a WhatsApp group. I sell some in Facebook Marketplace, and we do yard sales on the weekends. So
yeah.
3 ways to sell it. And we do eBay. So yeah, different ways to sell stuff.
But if you know, obviously, if you get a cheaper locker, the first video I uploaded, I'm sorry again, I didn't. My wife didn't go with me. My son did. I could definitely tell because the click rate for the people watching the video was like 1 minute because you see a picture of my wife and me, and then the first thing you see is me talking for 5 minutes.
I will watch it. I will watch that video of you.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that, honey. I appreciate the love. But so this one, you obviously see the hottie. It obviously helps, when she comes with me.
I'm not hottie. I'm Carolina.
It keeps me motivated because obviously she's nice to look at.
No, it's because I'm younger. I'm like, come on, let's do this.
She keeps me energetic. But again, you have to know too that on some of these cheaper lockers, you're just going to get trash, and that's one thing we've gotten kind of used to. You're going to find stuff like food. You're going to find mouse turds, and some people just can't deal with that. With the lockers.
And be careful because there's one time where we went to and we got one locker, and there was like when we opened the door, there was a gun who fell on the floor. Remember?
Yeah. We found a few firearms.
So
which
be careful. Some people, I think they put like guns like on top. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the more lockers you do, again, we just do this part time, and we, do it on the weekends and that one after my work. But you can find some firearms. Now we've gotten some lucky on a couple of ones. We had a couple of the last ones. We found a collector that had some 357 Smith & Wesson, 2 of them, and sold those for a shotgun. $1,000. Went to a local gun store, and we knew that they were decent guns because they were older type, 6 barrel. And again, I'm not a real big gun person, so I mean, we decided to sell them versus keeping them, but it was definitely some good money. So yeah, you can sometimes even find some firearms. Obviously, when you find firearms, the best thing to do first is to call your local police station, give them the serial number. Most of them will do it for you, free to run it, just to make sure they're not stolen firearms. And if they're not stolen, because you bought the locker, now you own the contents of that locker, so the firearms now belong to you. So then you can sell them. But again, I think the first video I did upload was about the trash. I think that's a big piece that most people don't show on locker videos. Is just at some point, I don't care if you buy a really nice lockers or cheap lockers, you're gonna get some trash, or you're gonna get some stuff that just doesn't sell.
Yeah,
or
but the
damaged.
first video, I don't think it should be like you taking trash.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's the part that you don't want to see. No one wants to go to a stinky dump, but at some point you have to discard it somewhere.
Yeah, and but again, that should have been like the third video or something. That's
one of the reasons why I love not being in HOAs, because we can kind of sometimes, pile some stuff up where I need to, and I don't have to worry about someone calling me and saying, hey, because again, we use our trailer not only for the contents of the locker, but we use our trailer to load up and take it to our large dump. We call it the big dump. We also have some smaller like satellite dumps. There are smaller ones where you can take like bag trash, small stuff. Those we use sometimes for like the quick stuff, like small things that we can dump. But if we got anything big like furniture that's busted or just stuff that doesn't sell, we take it to our big dump. So again, that's a piece of it that does happen. So hopefully people don't just jump into lockers without understanding the full the circle of what.
Would be trash.
Yeah, it's gonna be trash.
People have to donate some things.
You got to donate some stuff. Because not everything sells, so you have to find out how you're gonna get rid of some of the stuff. Luckily too, in our area we also have these like clothes bin places where you can drop off these clothes. Like you just stick it in there, either in a bag, but you stick them in there, and we're finding more and more of them, which actually does help, because when we get sometimes you get a locker with a lot of clothes, some sells, but a lot of it just will sit, and after a while, about 2 to 3 weeks, we'll drop the price, and then if it still doesn't sell,
but you have to be patient. Because if you rush too much, there's some people that save it just to wait until you drop the prices. So you have to just be patient and just let it sit there until it sells.
Yeah. So we're on the way home. When we get to the house, we're gonna unload the trailer. We're gonna go with some more.
I've been eating popcorn for 1 hour.
Yeah. I mean, look at the time. Oh my God.
Sorry, but this is real life. I got my happy ending. We'll see if he gets his happy ending.
Yeah, Daddy better get some side time. Daddy
my head hurts.
Yeah, of course, that's it. Head hurts. She's tired.
I have a headache.
Yeah, she has a headache.
I'm irritable.
So tomorrow we'll try to do a couple more videos with some of the other lockers. Again, we're trying to keep it as real as possible, not doing too many edits. Not gonna do like the some of the people I think just don't show as much as they probably should. I think it's good to show a little bit of everything. And again, we're just real people. Obviously, you know, us how we're together is probably not the real thing. Again, I know for a fact I'm gonna wake up from a coma, and I'm gonna have some wife that does not look anything like this. Because that's the funny part too, is we've said that's probably more of a reality.
I'm a great guy with a great personality. I don't know. Can someone say in the comments, like, what's the negative thing about saying that your husband has a great personality?
Yeah. Yeah, her saying I have a great personality. Most people, after they say that, if I can have a video that shows every person's reaction after she says that, they usually are like, bullshit. Boo, boo, boo.
You said that I have a great personality and this is why you marry me. I would feel happy. I would be like, oh really? Oh, I have a great personality.
Of course, my wife, you know, she always asks me those questions that wives do. You know, do you still love me? You know, why'd you?
No, I never asked you that ever.
Why'd you marry me?
No, it's because not that one either. You're lying. I only ask you things like, what happened if?
Oh yeah, the what if questions.
Yeah.
What happens if you know? I think one day she said, "What happened if I somehow see my face and I'm not this pretty? Would you stay with me?" The what if question.
He always says that I'm hot. He never says like, I like your personality. No, it's only like I even told him like, stop saying I'm hot. Just say I'm beautiful, gorgeous.
What would you call her? I mean, I call her. We actually have a running. Even the kids know.
I look like a strong Dominican woman. Does it?
A strong Dominican woman. Now everybody in the video is going to try to find out how they can go to Dominican and find someone that looks like that. She does get mad sometimes because people will say, you know, Matt, you know, how did you meet Carolina? And I was like, well, I flew on a plane to Dominican. I got off the plane and I saw her and I said, I want that one.
That's not a good story.
I want that one right there. That one looks like a nice shiny Barbie. Because I also do collect.
Not Barbie.
I do collect like Star Wars and, you know, figures and whatnot. And I always joke because, you know, my wife even saw my Star Wars collection and they're all in the packages. And she said, do you keep everything in the package? And I said, there was one doll I opened up. I opened up this one.
Can you turn the camera off so we can argue?
This one was not going to stay in the package for very long.
Alright.
The Star Wars ones, yeah, I'll keep those forever in the package. But this one, I definitely had to open it up, you know. Because
now, you married me because I had a good personality and I was a very strong Dominican.
Yeah, I didn't want a yes woman. But now she definitely holds me to it. She doesn't say yes for anything.
Even our kids know.
Yeah, even our kids know when Carolina says we'll see. Even our daughter goes, "But Mom, that just means no." Like even I know that now because I said I didn't want a yes woman.
He said it very clear. I had the messages. I said, "What are you looking for in a woman?" I asked the question, and you said, I just don't want a yes woman. I want someone that is very strong with her opinions and stuff. So suck it up. That's what you get.
I probably should have been more clear. There also, when we first met, there was a little bit of a language barrier. I said, you know, I wanted a strong woman who wouldn't say yes to everything I do. But I also wanted a strong woman that wasn't in the concrete and it could not be changed or moved or altered. Sometimes she's in concrete and it will not budge at all.
Yes, sometimes I do.
Very rarely. Very rarely.
Sometimes I do.
Even our one daughter, the running joke is our last daughter, I didn't include her. I just used her as the oven.
Yeah.
If you can understand what I'm talking about. I didn't include her on the list that we were going to have a third baby. I just told her. She said, "Did you?" And I said, I did not. And of course, down there was saying, yes, I did.
Is this for adults only? This video? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's not for children. This is educational.
Yeah, he didn't let me know.
Yeah, I let her know when she started vomiting in the toilet, and she said, "I think I may be pregnant." And I was like, "Oops." I guess I slipped one past the goalie.
I can't believe it.
All right, everyone, we're home. We're gonna unload the trailer. It's gonna be super hot. Hopefully, her mom will come out and do most of the work. Show them how much popcorn you just devoured.
I love popcorn.
Oh my
I'm not gonna
gosh.
stop eating just to make a.
They're gonna watch a video for almost 40 minutes just to hear you chomp on popcorn for 40 minutes. Oh my goodness. All right, everybody, stay safe. If you ever get into lockers and you want some information, some help, or some guidance, please reach out.
And you can. Well, welcome to opinions too. So
Yeah.
let us know.
All right, thanks everybody. Bye.